Hi, and welcome to Module 2, Week 2. So I'm so excited to share these readings with you this week. We are continuing our dive into STEM and STEAM, and really in these two readings and one video, continuing our exploration into what STEM is and STEM in early childhood, STEM and STEAM. In our first video, we really look at what young children bring in early childhood classrooms in the world as natural learners, right? Which all young children have. They are natural learners. They are innately, they are born with curiosity. And so, how do we facilitate that? And using this lens of STEM and STEAM to support that curiosity that all young children are born with. And so that first video really highlights that. How do we capitalize on their existing curiosity and their natural desire to explore the world? And thinking about their connections between home and school or the programs that they're in. And we continue that in the first reading that we have in this module. And we in this the first video, it talks a little bit about anxiety that adults can have, and that's also talked about in the second reading and the third reading, that the anxiety that the adults have in relation to STEM and the impact that could have on young children. So that's something that we just need to be aware of and think about and be thoughtful about in our work with families, as we continue in our class. How does that impact us? How does it impact the young children that we work with? Many people often think that I'm going to work with young children, I don't have to worry about math and science. Is that really the case? So that's one piece to consider. But going back to our readings, in the second reading, it really focused on changes. What can we do to improve STEM and STEAM in early childhood? There's a lot of things that are done right, but there's some opportunities for growth and opportunities for change. So I look forward to your insights about that article. And what really, it was a report, actually, not an article. But what really struck me is how the authors framed it, and using Bronfenbrenner's ecological systems theory in relation to looking at children and looking at STEM and STEAM education. And I thought that was an interesting approach to share their results and how we can improve STEM and STEAM. And then the third reading is also recommendations, but again, thinking about STEM and STEAM is not in a vacuum, but it's integrated. It's integrated in the lives of children. It's integrated with literacy, and STEM and STEAM is integrated as a vehicle for cognition and for young children's thinking processes and learning. And that article also highlighted, which was another thread that was mentioned in some of the other readings from week 1 and week 2, what we call stereotype threat. And they use different terminology for it, but basically that because I have certain characteristics, whether it be cultural characteristics, whether it be gender characteristics, whether it be other characteristics, the color of my skin, the way I look, who I am. I can't do X. I can't do math. I can't do science. I'm not good at because of who I am. And stereotype threat is a concept developed by a person named Claude Steele. And so they introduce and again talk about stereotype threat in relation to STEM and STEAM in early childhood, which is also something for us to think about in our work with young children and our beliefs and perceptions about STEM and STEAM and how we share STEM and STEAM with young children, what we believe we can do as professionals. So the last thing in the third reading was talk about how do we advocate for STEM and STEAM. And that really connects to the participation task for this module. So I look forward to seeing your advocacy work in your deck presentations. And finally, I found an optional video that I shared. Again, it's optional about families and engaging families, the importance of engaging families in STEM and STEAM. And I added that. It's from the same people who produced the first video in this module. I just thought I would share it. Again, it's optional. But hopefully, if you have a chance to watch it, it will be beneficial. I hope you have a great week, and I look forward to seeing your deck presentations and your advocacy work for STEM and STEAM in early childhood. Be well.